Imagine a world woven from desert winds and sea spray, a world called Azhara, inspired by the ancient Silk Road. Here, salt caravans and incense ships connect vibrant coastal cities, oasis kingdoms, and treacherous mountain passes. In Azhara, trade is sacred. A promise is more valuable than gold, and stories travel faster than armies. The sea isn't just water. It's a living memory. The desert isn't empty. It remembers every single footstep. Among the coastal nomads, legends speak of the salt weavers, rare beings born where the tide meets prayer. Nerysai is one of them. She isn't the mermaid of fairy tales. She can't breathe underwater, and she doesn't have a tail. Her power is something far older, far more profound. Nerysai can spin seawater into a magical silk, a thread so strong it never tears, never rots, and holds the memory of the one who wove it. This salt silk can bind ships together in a raging storm, filter poison from a village well, or even hold a dying city upright. But there's a catch. A sacred rule woven into its very essence. Because seawater cannot exist without freedom, salt silk cannot be woven in captivity, or so the legends claim. Honoring an ancient oath, Nerysai lives a solitary life by the tidal salt flats, vowing never to sell her extraordinary gift to the power-hungry empires of the world. Far from the coast, in the heart of the desert, a once glorious empire is crumbling. Prince Rakim ibn Safar is its heir, watching his world turn to dust. Drought has scorched the land, trees have been broken, and the vital trade routes that were his empire's lifeblood are vanishing. His people are starving, his treasury is empty, and his rivals circle like vultures, waiting for the final collapse. Rakim is brilliant, pragmatic, and has been raised to believe that survival justifies any cost. So when whispers of the salt weaver reach his desperate ears, he doesn't seek her blessing or offer a fair trade. He does what he believes he must. He captures her. Rakim binds Nerysai with chains of gold and salt iron, dragging her to his dying capital. He forces her to weave, to spin salt silk into massive reservoirs to save the city's dwindling water supply. And it works. The silk holds the water, a shimmering, miraculous solution, but a terrible price is paid. The sea, the source of her power, falls silent. The winds turn hostile. And in the deep dunes, something ancient and terrible awakens. An oath has been broken, and the desert always collects its debts. She is known only as Al-Sarb, the sandwich, a creature that feeds on broken promises. You can't look at her directly. She exists only in the shimmer of a mirage. Where she walks, travelers are trapped in loops of their happiest memories, reliving them over and over until they forget what is real and die with a smile on their faces, lost to a beautiful lie. The moment Rakim betrayed his word to Nerysai, the witch began her hunt. She craves the salt silk, she hungers for the prince's guilt, and she desires Nerysai's profound grief. The witch's illusions descend upon the capital, a beautiful, deadly plague of memory. The city is lost. Rakim is forced to flee, taking his prisoner, Nerysai, with him. They escape into the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Great Salt Desert, bound together now not by chains, but by a desperate need for survival. Enemies become reluctant allies. The journey across the shimmering salt flats is brutal. Nerysai, through her quiet strength, begins to teach the prince a lesson he never learned in his palace. That trade without trust is just another form of poison, one that sickens the land itself. In turn, Rakim shows her the harsh reality of leadership, that pure idealism, however noble, cannot save starving people from a harsh world. Each night, as they make camp under a blanket of stars, the witch's mirages grow stronger, more personal, more tempting. They whisper promises into the wind, showing them visions of what they desire most. For Rakim, it's a vision of his kingdom restored, prosperous and strong. For Nerysai, it's the image of a peaceful sea, one that never demanded such a heavy price for her gift. For both of them, it's the mirage of a love without consequence, a connection free from the pain and betrayal that brought them together. And every single night, they must find the strength to choose the harsh, painful truth over the comfort of a beautiful, deadly lie. As they travel, a change begins to happen. Nerysai starts to weave again, but this time, it is her choice. The silk she creates is different. It's no longer just a tool of survival. It reflects the moonlight like a woven prayer. It carries whispers of forgiveness on the desert wind. And most importantly, it has the power to weaken the witch's illusions, cutting through the lies with threads of truth. At the same time, Rakim begins his own transformation. He starts to unlearn the lessons of conquest he was taught his whole life and relearns the forgotten art of honor. Love doesn't arrive in a grand, sweeping moment. It grows slowly, in the shared silence of the vast desert, in the shared thirst from a single canteen, and in the hard-earned trust built one difficult step at a time. Their journey leads them to the glass dunes, a surreal landscape where salt and sand have fused over millennia into giant reflective mirrors. It is here that the sandwich makes her final stand, trapping them in her most powerful illusion. She doesn't just show them their desires. She places them inside their happiest lives. Rakim finds himself walking through the halls of his palace, his empire prosperous, his father smiling, everything you lost now perfectly restored. Neresai stands on a shore where the sea sings a joyful song, a world where her gift brought only peace and never asked her to suffer. The illusion is perfect, complete. It is a paradise built from their deepest pain. But they have learned the witch's ways. They know that to break free, a promise, a real one, must be kept, even at a terrible cost. In the heart of the mirage, with the phantom image of his kingdom all around him, Rakim makes a choice. He publicly renounces his throne, his birthright, everything he has ever fought for. He declares his empire has no king. And then he turns to Neresai and frees her not as a captor releasing a prisoner, but as one soul releasing another. He does this knowing that his real, starving empire may not survive his choice. At that moment of ultimate sacrifice, the sandwich, who feeds on broken promises, finds herself faced with an unbreakable one. She starves. The mirage shatters like 1,000 mirrors, and the desert falls silent. In the aftermath, with the desert air clear and clean, Neresai weaves one final gift. This time, it's not for an empire or a king. It's for the people. She weaves canals of salt silk that carry water back to the desert lands, a gift given freely, without ownership or price. Rakim, no longer a prince, finds a new purpose. He becomes a guardian of the caravans, protecting the very trade routes he once sought to control. He is not a king, but a protector. And across Azhara, trade resumes, not as an act of domination, but as a true exchange between people. And out on the coast, the sea, finally free, begins to sing again. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of Azhara, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from worlds beyond our own. See you next time!